Happy Sunday, all. Welcome to the inaugural NARL Sunday Racing here with North American Racing League. We are running the first race here on our Sunday series. Not really a series, but just kind of a fun race that we're looking to do with everybody. We are in open practice right now. As you can see, we are running at Road Atlanta full course. Track length is about 2.5 miles, just over 2.5 miles, but the track temperature right now at 109 degrees, so it's going to be a little spicy action for these guys. Should be some great racing today, and I'm looking forward to some hot action with these guys as we're just in the middle of practice right now. Still got a little bit of time to go. Just over 25 minutes still left in open practice right now. As you can see, we've got Nicholas Rubilar with a fast lap right now of a 1:17.8. Jackson Resende in the second spot, about a half second back. And should be some great action today as we look at everybody's timing there. Still a lot of time going on in practice. Guys going to get things sorted out. We'll get plenty more action on the track as we see a few more guys trying to get some more laps in. But a little bit of time before we get started. Still, like I said, about 25 minutes before we get into qualifying. And during this time, we will just kind of watch some cars run around for a little bit. And we will get qualifying started in about 25 minutes. All right, looks like we got about 20 minutes left in practice right now. This is our NARL Sunday racing. This is our inaugural one here at Road Atlanta. This is going to be some fun action today. Something different. Scott Reister thinking up a little plan to have some midweek, not midweek, but the end of the week racing. This is going to be fun. It's going to be top 10 drivers are all going to get $15 in iRacing credit. And your top 3 finishers are going to get $100 cash. So there's some big money out here for these guys to get some good running in. Got a pretty big field right now. This is an open lobby, so this is a chance for anybody to actually join. You don't have to be a member of NARL, the North American Racing League, to be part of this. So we're looking right now at about 37 cars that are in the session right now. We still got less than 20 minutes to go in practice right now. Still setting the pace right now is Nicholas Rubelar with a 1:17.8. Jackson Resende with an 18.2. Brian Allman with an 18.3. Lauren Savadil with an 18.3 as well. Some really quick times up on top of the board right now. And why don't we go along the board with Timo Grossman, and we'll do an in-car with him as he kindly pulls off the track just in time for us to want to go watch him on board. So let's switch cars over to Michael Brooks coming into turn 1 right here. As you come over the crest here is that always blind little chicane. Really got to watch it. You really ride these curves coming around in this section here. And Michael Brooks coming down, running for the wrong stuff, racing through this kind of a windy S section. Again, a little blind section coming over here, but this is just a nice little short shoot. We really want to carry your speed into this double right-hander. Get just a little bit of curb, then you jump out here, ride that outside curb, and you want to get a good exit onto this long back straightaway. This is where your chance is to get a good draft of cars in front of you. Get a good run coming up this hill, and then this is where you tuck into the draft and start getting closer and closer till you got your competitor down this long back straightaway. Cresting over the top here, you can see that next chicane coming up. Get hard under braking in here, get under the outside curb, cut this curb just the right amount so you can get a good carry speed up here, up under the bridge. And as you're coming down into the final turn and down the front straightaway, that is a full lap of Road Atlanta here with Michael Brooks showing us the way. Brooks with an 18.8 that time by. Brooks is sitting 8th right now overall. This is a really competitive field right now. As once again, we are in an open session, so this is anybody can join us. Some really fast guys out here. We've got Nicholas Rubelar from Chile out front right now with a 1:17.8 was his quick time. He's got 0.3 of a second on Jackson Resende. Rubelar running the Acura right now. Second quick car right now is Jackson Resende in his BMW, one of the few Beamers out here on the field right now. Then you got Ryan Allman repping some Detroit muscle in the Ford Mustang. Lauren Savadil in his traditional Merc, sitting 4th right now on the field in practice. As we're closing in on 15 minutes still left to go in this practice session. Got a lot of time for these guys to still get some more action going in. So what we're looking at is fixed setup. We're running the fixed STO iRacing setup, 55% fuel. So it is going to be a chance for these guys to stop, get pit stops, and you do get 1 fast repair. That way you can repair any damages that may happen. But again, this is an open lobby, so this is anybody. This is not just people that are members of the North American Racing League. These are people that are just, people could stumble across this just by chance. Come out here and run with us. Right now we do have 38 people in this session. So this could definitely get some interesting racing going on. Nicholas Mateo now up into the 4th spot in the Acura. Extremely fast racers going on right now. Yannick Steinhoff in the Lambo is sitting in the 9th spot right now. Just kind of go through some of the cars that are on the track right now running. Chris Peets in a Porsche, sitting 12th overall in the practice session. Andy Ray Miller sitting 14th right now. Andy's one of the regulars, also in the NARL League on Thursday nights. Nick Uzik in the 15th spot in the Acura. Michael Odell is one of the best driver photos. That is one crazy party right there is what I'm talking about. Sitting 16th right now, Odell is. Let's see who else we got here on track. Paulo Gadai, longtime NARL racer. Sitting 21st right now in his Lambo. Eric Brathwaite from Canada, also running a BMW, sitting 22nd right now in practice. Ricardo Delgado in his traditional Corvette, sitting 26th right now. We also got longtime NARL participant as well, Sean Patterson, sitting 27th in his Porsche. Manuel Sandoval in the 30th spot right now in practice. Just kind of going through some of the cars that are on track right now. Yeah, we got about 12 minutes left in practice right now. Again, this is the North American Racing League Cash Weekend Race. Looking to continue this on through on future Sundays. So if you'd like to get any information about the North American Racing League, make sure you check out NorthAmericanRacingLeague.com. That is our website. We do race on Thursday nights. We do race GT3 racing on Thursday nights. That you guys check us out. As we'll take a little voice break here while we're still finishing up some practice. So again, we got about 11 minutes left in practice, then we'll get into qualifying here shortly. Sorry for the spike on the music there. Accidentally hit one wrong button there, and all hell breaks loose. We are still in practice here for the North American Racing League. We have a cash days kind of a vibe that we got going on here. We're looking to do this every Sunday. We're going to be doing some different races, different tracks, and looking to keep this action going on as long as it is well received. So as of right now, it looks like we're doing pretty good, as we've got a pretty full field right now. This is an open lobby. We've got 40 cars registered. There is going to be a wide variety of driver ability, as I've seen iRating from 11K with Nicholas Mateo, and we've got as low as 500 that joined the session. So we'll have to see if they hang on and keep running, as we see Nicholas Mateo going to the top of the board. Mateo going with a 17.823, so just almost 400ths of a second quicker than Rubilar. So he sets his quick time and he is done. So we'll have to see how these guys work out as we're closing in on the end of practice session. This is definitely going to be a fun race. Top 3 drivers, we're got $100 cash. So that always brings out some good racing action. And then the rest of the top 10, they're going to get $15 iRacing credit. So kind of cool. Something neat with Scott Reister and the North American Racing League. Going to be a great race. Scott Reister, the man behind North American Racing League, running his Acura around right now, sitting 13th fastest right now in the practice session. We're watching him come down the front straightaway. Getting the last few little practice laps in. Watching him through that ever-tricky top chicane up there at the top of the hill. Working his way around his Acura. Again, this is an open lobby, so it's not even just league people. So that's why we got quite a bit of attendance. This should be a lot of fun. Qualifying is about to get started here in about 2 minutes. On the top of my head, I do not recall if this is a 2 or 3 lap qualifying, so we'll find out here shortly. Scott winding it down. Come into a little practice pit stop into pit lane. You will be needing to stop, as this is going to be an hour-long race. With 55% fuel, they are going to need to make sure to do some stops. Lawrence coming around one final time, just as the time is coming to the end of the practice session. Still a few cars running around the track right now. And we got a full 40-car session field. 40 cars that are registered. Right now we still have 3 cars that have not turned a time. We'll have to see how this works out. As practice has completed. As we are getting set for qualifying now. As as everybody starts getting going, let's take a look at our practice results. Just to kind of go over some results here. You got Nicholas Mateo with a 1:17.8. Nicholas Rubelar just 339 thousandths of a second behind. Daniel Lafuente in the third spot. Jackson Resende fourth. Lawrence Zavadil will come in the fifth spot. Ryan Allman, sixth fastest in practice. Thorsten Ulrich, seventh. Timo Grossman, eighth. Yannick Steinhoff in the ninth spot. And Michael Brooks rounding out your top 10. And as you can see, all the way down to the 15th spot with Andy Ray Miller, 1 second severing your top 15 cars in practice. So it is going to be very tight action here. And I look forward to seeing what these guys can do as we are currently in the qualifying session. We are on with right now with Scott Kimbrough, getting the tires warmed up to go around for first flying lap. Watching him in his Acura Empire Racing down at the end of the back straightaway, 157 miles an hour, hard under braking into that chicane to come around and get his first lap in. Guys can get going as we're in the qualifying session right now. One thing to really watch with qualifying is you can see Steinhoff getting off track just a little bit, but I think that is still an okay section. But there are a couple other sections of the track where it's super easy to dip a tire off the track and actually get hit with a penalty, and you definitely do not want to do that during qualifying. As you see Zavadil trying to get some heat in those tires. First time laps coming around right now. Thorsten Ulrich with an 18.4. Nicholas Rubelar 17.9 right off the bat. Daniel Lafuente with an 18.1. Ulrich dropping down to third. Chris Beats sitting fourth. Michael Brooks in fifth. Everybody coming around for their first full lap. Ulrich coming down the back straight right now, sitting fourth right now. 13 hundredths of a second behind Jackson. You can see Rubelar now with a 2/10 of advantage on Daniel Lafuente. Here comes Rubelar down with two purple sectors coming across the line. Three purple sectors. Rubelar comes across the line with a 17.7. Put him on top of the board. Lafuente right now. Daniel Lafuente is with a 17.9, his quick lap. Nicholas Mateo now up into the third spot. Nicholas was our quickest in practice. Chris Beat still hanging on to that fourth spot. Ryan Allman in the round top 5 here. This Rubelar is going to call it. really setting the board on fire right now. Victor Aponte coming across the line, putting him up into the 18th spot that time by. Everybody on orange sectors right now. Nobody setting any purple sectors to advance. As we're watching Daniel Lafuente coming through the final chicane under the bridge. Here's a green sector 1. Let's see what he comes across the line with. 18-1 will not improve, so he's sitting second right now. Nicholas Mateo is still being shown in third. Mateo with 2 purple sectors put him up into the 2nd spot, so he'll be starting on the outside front row with that 117.8. Good enough to put him up there. Let's see what else who else we've still got on the track here. Looks like everybody else about wrapping up here. Andy Ray Miller going for a shortcut around here. Jackson Resende still on the clock, up to the 4th spot right now. Everybody wrapping up the practice session. Might be just getting a couple extra laps in, checking the pit lane like we are here with Michael Brooks coming into it for a pit lane. So he is able to, brings it in hot. Practice session here. Scotty Angelo sitting 22nd right now for Angelo. Manuel Sandoval sitting 25th right now in the Porsche. Paulo Gaday in the Lamborghini. Uncharacteristic for Paulo being that far down in the field. Manuel Sandoval coming in underneath the bridge one more time. Comes across the line. Sandoval comes across the stripe with a 19.6. Not looking to improve his time there. So everybody else kind of wrapping up here. One car still not with a valid time yet. Mateo Cargunelli. Rough through that final section there. Still not a valid time for Mateo. Odell in the Ferrari. 17th quick right now on the board. Still have a couple, 2 cars still trying to finish. Sitting in that 17th spot right now. Looking to improve. He does have a green sector too, but 1st and 3rd sectors are still in the orange. Still trying to push his way around. Down into that final turn. See what kind of time Michael Odell turns. Comes across the line. Odell with no improvements will still hang on to that 17th spot. And Mateo still out there with about 30 seconds left to go. One more car on the track. Troy Fenelon. No valid time, so we start from scratch in the field. Oh, it looks like Mateo finally getting a lap time in. Turns to 120.7, good enough to put him 30th overall. As time time has came to a close here on qualifying. And we will come up and show you the grid here shortly. Here is our grid for the North American Racing League Sunday racing action from from Road Atlanta. Starting on the pole, Nicholas Rubilar with a 1:17.7. Great lap from him. Starting on the outside front row will be Nicholas Mateo. Row number 2 will be Daniel Lafuente with Jackson Resende next to him. Row 3 will be Chris Beats with Ryan Allman starting in the 6th spot. 7th spot will be Michael Brooks. Lawrence Zavadil will be starting on the outside of the 4th row. 5th row will be Thorsten Ulrich with Scott Kimbrough starting 10th to the grid. And Timo Grossman starting 11th. Janik Steinhoff will be starting in the 12th spot. Up next will be Peter Nodwell. 13th, Scott Reister, the founder of North American Racing League, starting in the 14th spot. Nathan Medina, 15th. Andy Ray Miller will be starting 16th. Michael Odell will be starting in the 17th spot. Nick Olzik in the 18th spot. Ricardo Delgado in 19th. Victor Apuente in the 20th spot. Then you get 21st will be Eric Brathwaite. Then Scotty Angelo will be 22nd. 23rd, Will Coffey, Longshot Racing. And then in the 24th spot will be Lucas Finco. 25th spot, Manuel Sandoval. Luis Ortiz in 26th. Sean Patterson in the 27th spot. Anthony Wayland in 28th. Eric Bolton in 29th. Matteo Carguletti. I'm going to struggle with that one this whole time. In the 30th spot. Paulo Gadai in 31st. Then Timothy Patterson in 32nd. Troy Fenelon in 33rd. And you got a few guys that did not turn any times, starting with Josh Cummings, Evan McElroy, Wes Amick, Wiley Wolf, Gabriel Goli, Mark McNaught, Tid Richards, and Pat Matthew. They all joined the session but did not turn a lap. So we will have to see how this goes. I'm excited to see how our racing action goes as we are starting to do our reconnaissance lap. As we watch these guys go around. Again, this is North American Racing League. Doing some Sunday Fun Day racing here. Top 3 guys will be getting $100 cash. And then the top 10 drivers are actually getting $15 in iRacing credits. Right now with a problem, not quite sure. Looks like a pit lane start for him. Not quite sure what happened there, but he will be starting from the pits. As you see everybody kind of making their way around, coming onto the back straightaway now, following that iRacing pace car. Nicholas Rubilar is your pole sitter. Nicholas Mateo sitting on that outside row. Second row will be Daniel Lafuente with Jackson Resende. So again, this will be a 1-hour race for these guys. 55% fuel with a fixed setup. Racing action today with 33 cars will be joining us as we're coming to the end of the bridge one final time just before Barney waves that green flag. Looks like Thorsten's computer crashed. Tough break for him. As we're coming around the front straightaway, green flag for these guys as Nicholas Rubelart leads them into turn 1. Side-by-side action coming through as we watch these guys coming up into that first sector. This is going to be the hairy spot for these guys. Hard under braking in here. A couple side-by-side action with these guys as we're watching a few guys come through. Everybody behaving quite nicely. No real accidents right now. Everybody's doing a pretty good job. But it looks like Thorsten's computer crashed during the start, and he is going to have to start from pit lane and work his way back up. Tough break for Ulrich. Coming down the back straight for the first time, Nicholas Rubelart leading them around. Nicholas Mateo half second back. See the shot. Everybody nose to tail right now, getting settled in. Everybody pretty behaving themselves. I haven't seen any records of wrecks coming in through. Rubelart out in front. It's got about a half-second advantage on Nicholas Mateo with Daniel Lafuente in third. Jackson Resende in fourth. Chris Beats in the fifth spot. Coming down the back straightaway. Rubelart opening up just a bit now. About a half-second advantage now, but this is where that draft is going to be real heavy coming down the back straightaway. Wilson Ulrich already trying to work his way back through the field, already getting through a couple cars. Tough break for him. So we go back up front with Rubelart. Looks like we do have a wreck from Eric Bolton. Let's see what happened here. Looks like Ulrich right with him as well. Get a little tap and just coming around that section. That is a tight little, real tricky right-hander there coming onto the back straightaway. And if, especially with a Porsche with that motor way in the back there, that could cause a little tail happy action there. Everybody kind of behaving themselves quite nicely right now. On the track map, everybody really nose to tail right now. Big mover right now. You've got Paulo Gadai already up 8 spots. Jump back here. We'll come back here with Nicholas Mateo. Pack of Rubelart is. This is where these guys are going to be wanting to save some fuel, get as much draft and fuel saving going on as they can. Some clean through here, staying within that distance. Paulo Gadai. Paulo is up spots. Working on Luis Ortiz right now down the back straightaway, trying to gain some spots back up. Here he comes down the back straightaway. Hard under braking, does not have the move to make. Ulrich already up into the 27th spot, working his way back up, trying to make a run on these guys after his computer. Ryan Allman running in the 7th spot right now, dropping one spot from his starting position. Back up front, though, we got Nicholas Rugelar opening it up to a half-second advantage. Has been able to maintain that on Nicholas Mateo. These guys that are back here behind him are just sitting here waiting, saving as much fuel as they can. Come down the front straight one more time. Rugelar comes by with an 18 flat, 18-1 for Mateo, 18-2 for La Fuente. In the 3rd spot, we've got Daniel Fuente. We got Acura out in front. In the 4th spot, you got Jackson Resende in the good old BMW. Right behind him is Chris Beats in the 1st Porsche we see. Top 5 are starting to pull away just a bit. You got about a 2-second gap back to Lawrence Savadil in the Mercedes. And Ryan Allman in the 7th spot, trying to make a run on Lawrence down the back straightaway. Can't quite close in, but just kind of biding his time here as we're still way early into this race. Next in the field, Michael Brooks with the Wrong Stuff Racing in that Mustang, sitting in the 8th spot. And you got a little to get back to Timo Grossman in the 9th spot. Timo up 2 spots right now from his starting position. And then right behind him is Scott Kimbrough from Empire Racing, sitting in that 10th spot, right where he qualified. Again, another one of the guys just biding his time, trying to stay clean with these guys. Right behind him is Peter Nodwell in the 11th spot. Peter up 2 spots from qualifying. Yannick Steinhoff in the 12th spot with a little bit of action right behind him. Sitting behind him is Michael Odell in that Ferrari. Odell up 4 spots from qualifying with some hard pressure on Yannick Steinhoff right now. So looking to make a move up into that 12th spot, but some good action going on. Right behind him is Scott Reister. Waiting to see what happens as they come down the back straightaway. Here. Have a problem, not quite sure what happened here. Looks like he disconnected, having some connection issues. Yeah, Medina with some problems put him straight back to the pits. So we go back up with Reister now in the 14th spot. Next behind him in the 16th spot is Andy Ray Miller. 16th right now is Ricardo Delgado. 18th spot right now is Victor Apuente. Then you get Will Coffey from Longshot Racing in the 18th spot. Will up 5 starting positions right now, making his way up. Had a rough qualifying session. Then you got Scotty Angelo, Samsoid blue car. We've got a couple cars in the pits already. And then rounding out your top 20, Manuel Sandoval up 5 spots from his starting position. Back up front with Nicholas Rublar leading him around. All the front runners running about at 118 for their fast laps. See the gap starting to develop right there. Those top 3 Acuras starting to pull away from Jackson Resende in that BMW. The 3 Acuras, Rublar, Mateo, and La Fuente are kind of in tow with each other. Still a long race to go for these guys. The top 3 cars are separated by about 1 second now. Rublar comes by the stripe with an 18.5. Mateo with an 18.3. La Fuente with an 18.3 as well. So second and third closing that gap just a little bit. See the top 3 are starting to pull away. And back in that 4th spot is Jackson Resende, trying to stay in touch with these guys. A little far out there, had to lift a little bit too much, and that's going to drop him back even farther now. That's going to put him under pressure with Chris Beets right behind him in that Porsche. Beets is going to be within striking distance here, possibly with a little bit of a draft. See what he can hit when he comes down this back straightaway. Trying to close that gap, half second back, gaining 100ths of a second each feet he comes closing in, but does not look like he's going to have enough room here. Everybody just kind of nose to tail right now, biding their time. This is a long race. It's going to be an hour and 20-minute race here, so lots of time still for these guys. Again, we're running a fixed setup, 55% fuel. So I'm sure if we went on board with some of these guys that are following each other, we could hear them lifting early down into the hairpins, down that back straightaway, just saving as much fuel as they can, tucked in the draft. Jump back here, Ryan Allman in the 7th spot, right behind Lord Savadell. Go on board with Ryan as he comes on to the back straightaway here. That Mustang up through the gears, up 0.3 of a second behind Zavadil. Yeah, lifts real early down the back straights. A little early, but still pressuring quite good. On Zavadil. Pass for the 17th spot. Will Coffey getting by Victor here. Let's see where this is at. Coming onto the front straightaway. Will looking on the inside. And is able to stick the move, and it looks like Angelo's going to be coming with him as well. Oh, Angelo kind of forces his way in there. He's got Angelo up into the 18th spot. Will Coffey in 17th. back up front with Nicholas Rubelar. Your top 3 cars are still nose to tail. Acura's going at it. Looks like we're starting to come up on a little bit of lap traffic. Timothy Patterson just ahead of him. It's like Thorsten Ulrich making a pass up into P20, making his way up after that computer crash early on. Tucked in behind Paulo. Onto that short chute coming in. Yep. Nice inside move from Thorsten up into the 20th spot. And that early problem. Working his way back up into the field. Rubelar coming up on that lap traffic car, trying to find a space by, trying to make it clean so he doesn't get tangled out. That's just giving Mateo and Lafuente a chance to close in on him. Into that short chute. Patterson slides over, lets them by. Good, wise move from Timothy. Paulo Goday might be having some issues, dropping down the field a little bit. Luis Ortiz coming up on Paulo. Oh, we had a crash there. Not quite sure who that was. Let's go back to that. That was, jumping around here, couldn't quite get the camera on, but it looked like one of the wrong stuff cars having a problem in that front straightaway. More action we got going on. Scotty Angelo gets by Will Coffey from P17. A couple McLarens going at it. Ooh, Coffey getting up on the curbing a little bit, has to check up, lets Angelo go by. That is definitely a tricky section. If you don't hit it right, it will kick that car like a fucking Bronco. About 18 minutes down, still got quite a ways to go. Looks like our closest battle right now up towards the top is Grossman and Kimbrough. Kimbrough about 0.3 of a second behind. Kimbrough trying to reel him in. Grossman in the 9th spot. Kimbrough in 10th. Coffey earlier having that kind of a twitch coming onto that short chute, getting on the curbing. Same section here. And gets a little help. Able to keep it out of the wall. Dropping him all the way down quite a ways. Will having to check up from hitting on those curbs. It's a little tap from behind from Nick. Coffey dropping all the way down to the 26th spot. Back up front. Lafuente tucked in behind Mateo, starting to close that gap. See these 3 Acuras really pulling away quite a ways from Jackson Resende. Guys are really just kind of biding their time, I think. Daniel sitting in that third spot, just under half a second behind Nicholas Mateo. Rearview mirror, you cannot even see Jackson Resende. Resende now 3 seconds back in that third spot. Lafuente coming down the back straight here. Does lift early, so he is definitely fuel saving coming down that back straightaway. But a great battle up front again. Mateo closing in on Rubilar. Again, your top three still only separated by about 1 second right now. Go back and see Thorsten Ulrich really making his moves up the field. That early problem. Ulrich jumps down on the inside of Scotty Angelo to take up into the 17th spot. So Ulrich had to start scratch to the field, had to start in pit lane, and has worked his way back up into the 17th spot. Now if we look back there, Ulrich about 29 seconds behind your leader. Has a little bit of gap back to Ricardo Delgado, so trying to work his way back up the field. I see a little bit of pressure here from Nicholas Mateo in that second spot. Closing in on Rubilar. Down the front straight they come. Rubilar with an 18.3, Mateo 18.2, Lafuente with an 18.4. You got Resende with an 18.5. Chris Beats 18.7. Zabido with an 18.6. Pass for the 12th spot here. Looks like Odell making a move on Yannick Steinhoff. Oh, Yannick goes off the track. Has to check up. Odell able to sneak by and come up into the 12th spot. Wow, that gap now is down to 5 seconds back to just Jackson Resende in the 4th spot. Those top three really starting to pull away. Coffee was having some struggles with that McLaren right now. Under braking, gets a little tap on Patterson there and gets tangled up. Him and Sean Patterson getting together. That's going to leave a short end of the stick for Will right there. Track temp still showing at 108 degrees, so still pretty warm day here at Road Atlanta. Could be leading to some tire degradation, tires getting wore out. Back up front. Daniel Lafuente sitting in that 3rd spot as we're closing in on 25 minutes down. So our first fuel stop's probably going to be coming at about the 35, 40 minute mark for some of these guys. We'll have to see how fuel goes. And we'll go from there. Got Acura out in front. Rubilar, Mateo, and Lafuente. Next car back is Jackson Resende. As you see a few cars coming in and out of the pits right now. I think that's a little early from these guys. These guys had some damage. I think that's Coffee and Patterson. Get some damage repaired. In the 5th spot, Chris Beats. George Zavido still hanging on with that Merc in the 6th spot. Ryan Alm in the back of this group in the 7th spot. Then you got about 4 seconds back to Michael Brooks. And then 5 seconds back to Timo Grossman. So you got a pass for 24 spots. It's like Lucas going off track up here. Let's see what happened up here. Lucas was the car we saw get in the wall earlier on the front straightaway. Evans gets up high center to get a little 50-50 grind on the curbing there. And that's going to cause some damage. And then Eric getting by. Back up front with Rubilar, Mateo, and Lafuente out in front. 18 flat, 18 flat, 18-1 for your top 3. Looks like you're one of your first cars in the pits for the top 10. Chris Beats coming in for his first stop. Long, slow trundle down the pit lane. Not even to 30 minutes yet, so we'll have to see how this works out. Beats taking some tires as well. Leader's starting to come up on Anthony Whalen. Good thing, sliding as far out of the way as he can, trying to stay out of the way of this battle. That gives Mateo a chance to really close that gap. Mateo right behind Rubilar, going for a move down into the hairpin. Mateo now taking over the lead. Rubilar dropping back to second as they go back and forth, high-low move. Mateo taking over the lead as they come across down the front straightaway. Changed for the lead out in front. Oh, Rubilar looks for an inside shot. Might be just filling up those mirrors, trying to get his little attention from him. As they're coming up on another lap car here in front, Scotty Angelo. As we see quite a few other people coming in and out of the pits. Your next group is in the pits right now. Resende, Zavidil, Allman. Everybody coming in the pits now as we're at the 28-minute mark. Good battle up front. Mateo and Rubilar are going at it. Daniel Lafuente with a great view of this battle, sitting in that 3rd spot. Looks like these Acuras are able to get some good fuel mileage as they're closing in on just over 28 minutes now. With their pit exit, they should be able to get into the 30-minute mark, no problem. Rubilar flashing those lights, trying to bring awareness to him, telling him, I'm still here, guy. As they come down the back straightaway, hard under braking. Might be coming in for a fuel stop. Looks like they are. Here comes your top 3 cars in for a fuel stop. Nose to tail, these 3 guys coming in, that long trundle all the way down to the end of pit lane. So we're watching these guys come into pit lane, all 3 of them getting stopped here. Looks like everybody getting tires. Guys come out. Jackson Resende just now coming under the bridge. Let's see Mateo coming out first. Looks like Mateo's going to be able to hang on to that lead. Rubilar still coming out in second. Lafuente dropping back just a little bit, getting hanged up behind Sean Patterson. He's going to lose some valuable ground here. Trying to get some heat back in these tires after they get a full tire change. pass for the 13th spot. Scott Reister and Manuel Sandoval coming down into the front section here, down into the front straightaway. Been with Sandoval pitting, it looks like. La Fuente getting by Patterson, put him a lap down. But you got Mateo leading him around right now. Nicholas Mateo coming up on Mateo. Top two get by. Mateo does the right thing, slides out of the way, lets these guys go battle. Daniel Lafuente in that third spot. Looks like we have a crash from Manuel Sandoval. Let's see what happened here coming out of pit lane. Pulls off the track and jump back to the pit. So kind of a interesting thing here. About 32 minutes down, we can run through the field here. So we've got out in front, we got Nicholas Mateo making that move about 4 laps ago, just before the pit stop, take over the lead. And you got Nicholas Rubelar in second, Daniel Lafuente in third. Your top three have been nose to tail. Oh, Fuente makes a mistake. We've seen a couple guys hit that curb a little hard. He's able to luckily keep it out of the wall. Loses some valuable ground to those top two though, so dropping back just a bit. Then you got about 7 seconds back to Jackson Resende in the 4 spot. Chris Beats, after his pit stop, still hanging on to Jackson in that 5th spot. And you got about 3-4 seconds back to Ryan Allman. Ryan able to get past Lawrence Zavadil. So Ryan up into the 6th spot. Zavadil dropping back to 7th. And then you got about 4.5 seconds back to Michael Brooks in the 8th spot. Scott Kimbrough up into the 9th spot after his pit stop. Went a little long on his stop with the leaders. Able to fuel save some. Able to pick up into the 9th spot. Then you got Timo Grossman in the 10th spot now. Yannick Steinhoff in the 11th spot. Team cars running together there in 10th and 11th. Scott Reister in 12th, trying to make a move on Yannick here. In the 13th spot is Peter Nodwell. 14th spot right behind him is Michael Odell. Michael Odell. Michael up 3 spots, goes off the track into turn 1. That is definitely a tricky spot. If you're really trying to put some moves on, you could quite get pushed too hard through there. And if you dip a tire off onto that section, it can suck you into that outside wall really quick. Right behind him is Thorsten Ulrich. Thorsten really making moves up, trying to get back up from that early computer crash. Having to start scratch to the field, had to do a pit lane start. That put him about the 35th spot, I think it was, on the field when he started, but he's back up into the 14th spot. So great move from Ulrich so far. And then back in the 16th spot, you've got Ricardo Delgado. Great showing for that Corvette. Right behind him is Andy Ray Miller in the Porsche. Scotty Angelo About 6 seconds behind those guys in the 18th spot. You got a little bit of a gap back to Paulo Gadai. And about another 9 seconds back to Luis Ortiz in the 20th spot. Eric Brathwaite in 21st. Lucas Finco in the 22nd spot as he's got that lead group coming by him. As you see, it looks like Daniel Lafuente up into second now as we kind of switch back over. Lafuente up into that second spot. He's been sitting third this whole time. Rubilar dropping back to third now. Great battle, these three up front. Go back to our running order right now. Matteo Carnuzzi. Sorry, Matteo, I just cannot get your name right. But you're sitting in the 23rd spot, up 7 spots, so good run for him so far. Then you saw Sean Patterson in the 24th spot. Sean having some early problems. You got Anthony Whalen in the 25th spot. 26th is Will Coffey, another one that had some early problems, trying to work his way back up. Nick Uzik in the 27th spot, down 9 spots, so tough race for Nick. Speaking of tough race, Victor Aponte with a fully damaged BMW there in the pits right now in the 28th spot. And Timothy Patterson rounding out your top 30 right now in the pits. You got Nathan Medina in 31st off the track. A couple other cars off the track as well, so we'll go back up front to our leaders. Mateo still out in front. Lafuente still hanging on to that second spot. Rubilar in third. Great battle for that second and third spot right now. These top three have been nose to tail this entire time. Got a crash from Nick. Coming into turn 1 here. Talked about it earlier. You get up on that curb, get it out in the grass, but Nick is able to actually keep it under control and not do too much damage. Thorsten Ulrich still working his way through the field, working on Peter Nodwell here, coming down the back straightaway. Thorsten working his way up into P13 now. Man on the move right now. Ulrich is definitely moving through the field. So we'll switch over to the gap right now. You can see Thurston in the 13th spot, still 30 seconds behind your leaders. So about a half a lap on these guys. Mateo with an 18.3 that time by Lafuente with an 18.3. Rubilar 18.3 as well. But Nicholas Mateo starting to pull away just a bit. He's about 0.6 of a second ahead of Daniel. Another close battle back here in the 14th and 15th spot. Michael Odell in the 14th spot in the Ferrari. Peter Nodwell in the 15th spot in the Porsche. Looks like Odwell was able to get by Peter here just a lap ago. See how that action happened. We'll get a whole lot of curb coming onto that short chute. Nodwell just letting him go by after getting a little hairy through that section. Michael Odell working his way up through the field. Paulo Gadai with a rough starting spot. Moving up into the 19th spot right now, up 12 spots from his starting position. Trying to work his way back through the field as we go back up front with your leaders. These three guys have been nose to tail. They have not been separated by more than 1 second most of this race. The biggest gap they had was right after the first pit stops, and La Fuente was about 2 seconds behind, but he was able to reel them back in, get within that draft, and hang tight with these top three Acuras here. Jackson Resende still sitting in that 4th spot, kind of in no man's land right now. He's about 6.5 seconds behind your leaders. He's got about a 1.5 seconds back to Chris Beats in the 5th spot. Ryan Alman in the 6th spot. Kind of tucking in behind Lucas here to get a little draft down the back straightaway. Trying to get a clean pass on Lucas. So Lucas is a lap down. Down that final turn on the inside. Battle back here in the 16th and 17th spot. Ricardo and Andy going at it down the back straightaway. Delgado in the Corvette. Miller in the Porsche. The closest battle right now on timing and scoring. Andy Ray Miller about 0.2 seconds behind Ricardo. Andy Ray Miller all over the back bumper of Ricardo. We go on board with Andy. Curve there. About 0.4 seconds behind. Trying to get a good run on him down this back straightaway. Not fuel saving at all for Andy Ray Miller, driving that thing down into that chicane. Gyro cams, you can see how much angle the cars take when they're hitting these big old curves. Kind of off camber in that turn 1 there. Maybe a little late coming through that chicane there is going to drop him back just a bit. Back up front, your top three, again, nose to tail. La Fuente now out in front. Daniel La Fuente getting by Mateo. Let's see where that action happens. Looks like coming down the back straightaway. Makes a move around the outside and takes over the lead. So guys are just playing draft train right now. One of them runs for a little bit out front, then the next one, and then the next one. So you got La Fuente now out in front. Nicholas Mateo in second. Nicholas Rubilar in third. Good battle for the 11th and 12th spot right now. Yannick Steinhoff holding on to that 11th spot. Scott Reister in third, or excuse me, in 12th. About 0.3 seconds back. But you can see in the distance, right behind, here comes Thorsten Ulrich. Robertson definitely on the move right now, up into the 13th spot. Trying to reel in. Get closer into these guys. Back up with our top three again. These guys still nose to tail, and they are definitely pulling away from Jackson Resende in that 4th spot. Miller still battling out with Ricardo Delgado. These guys still going at it coming into turn 1 here. Miller closing in hard. Has to check up just a bit, reset, and bring that fight back on. We're just over 45 minutes down. Up front with these guys. See the pit stops for your top 8 right now. And our stints right now. So you had guys going 22 laps for your top 3. Resende with a 21, Beats with a 20. What lap these guys stopped at there? Nicholas Mateo all over the back bumper of Daniel. Rublar dropped him back a little bit. Didn't quite see what happened to Rublar there. Looks like he may have slipped off track here. Let's see what happened here coming into turn 1. Rublar, your early pole sitter. Oh, good save from him. Look, get a little hairy coming into turn 1 there. Take a look from inside here. Into turn 1, has to check a little bit. Oh, good save from him there. But does drop him back just a bit on these guys. Looks like we have a crash from Lucas Finco. Lucas having a rough race so far. Starts chasing it, has to correct. Oh, comes flying into that section there. See what that looked like here from onboard. Gets a little bit of curb. Nope, no curb here. Just checks up, goes flying into the, oh, tough break for Finco. Fuente still leading him around. Nicholas Mateo in second. Then they got about a 1.5-second gap back to Rublar. Oh, looks like Reister getting by Yannick Steinhoff. Let's see how that looked here. Reister closing in on Steinhoff, coming down into the front section. Oh, Steinhoff jumping into the pits. So Reister up into P11 now. Next wave of pit stops coming through now. up front with Daniel Lafuente. Nicholas Mateo, you can see him in that rearview mirror just looking at that stars and striped nose. 50 minutes down, so our next wave of pit stops definitely coming on right now. Closest battle on the top 25 right now is right here with Daniel Lafuente and Nicholas Mateo. Top two separated by about 2.5 tenths. See Mateo trying to wipe some tire goopers off his windshield there. All over the back bumper of Lafuente. Is he gonna make a move down this here? Lafuente does play a blocking move there, but Mateo definitely lifting a little early, trying to save some fuel. Crest him down the front straight one more time. We're closing in on 1 hour here soon. Hour in 20-minute race. See the gap back to the third place car of Nicholas Rugelar. Then Jackson Resende quite a ways back. Chris Beats right there. Here comes your next place car, Brian Allman. Zavadil. And then you got a ways back to Michael Brooks. Still at the top of the hill there. About 8 seconds behind Zavadil. Kimbrough about 4 seconds behind in the 9th spot. Grossman in 10th. Paulo Gudai looks like he's making a move on Angelo. That looks like Angelo went into the pits, so Gudai up into the 17th spot after a pit stop here. Still close battle with these guys up front. Mateo just tucked in behind Daniel. All that track there, trying to carry as much speed around there as he can. 12th place car, Scott Reister in the pits. Go back to our stint length with these guys. They're right now, the top group are on 18 lap runs, so they got about another 4 laps depending on how their fuel saving has gone. Lafuente definitely playing that defensive role coming into that chicane, trying to keep Mateo behind. Definitely going to be looking for these guys to come by in about 2 laps. Rugelar starting to close that gap a little bit. 2.5 back now in the 3rd place. Last lap for Lafuente and Mateo were 18.5. Rugelar with an 18 flat, so half second quicker that last time by. Trying to reel these guys back in. Trying to get into that draft. See what these guys can do as they're coming onto the back straight one more time. Rublar within a second and a half, starting to close in. Just start to sniff a little bit of the draft. Fuente still putting the car right there in the middle, not letting Mateo have an inside line at all. Oh, La Fuente coming in early. This is a little early for him. Mateo continues on. Rublar in second now. Jackson Resende up into third now, but this should be everybody's final pit stop as we've got 56 minutes down. 24 minutes still left on the clock. Again, this is the North American Racing League. Sunday fun day action here for these guys. And this is an open lobby, so it does not have to be league members. Looking to do this on every Sunday. Right around the same time and day. We have not announced the next track yet. But if you check out NorthAmericanRacingLeague.com, find our link to Discord, join our Discord server, and you'll be able to get information for the upcoming races. This is our NARL Cash Weekend race. Top 3 positions will get $100 cash. Top 10 positions get $15 iRacing credit. As you see our leaders, the 2 Nicholases, Mateo and Rublar, jumping into the pits. Jackson Resende now out in front. Let's see what Jackson's pit was like last time. He went 21 laps. He's gone 22 this time. Stretching it out a little bit. Cars. Bet you our next top 6 are going to just start jumping into the pits here shortly. Resende leading the group right now. And yep, Resende coming into the pits. Car back to Ryan Allman. He's coming into the pits. Lawrence Zavadil continues on. Zavadil now taking over the lead. And the next car back on the track is Michael Brooks, also continuing on one more lap. Timo Grossman also continuing on. So everybody kind of stretching the fuel out as much as they can. Kind of your net leader right now is Nicholas Mateo, though. Rublar not too far back. And Daniel Lafuente. This is kind of your net first, second, and third right here. Guys have been running nose to tail for almost 1 hour. I think the farthest that they've been apart is 2 seconds from first and third. So these guys are really going at it. This is kind of your net first, second, and third as we've got Lawrence Zavadil out in front. Looks like Zavadil jumping into the pit lane here for his final stop as we're coming up on 1 hour down. 20 minutes still left to go. Brooks jumping into the pit lane. Grossman coming around in the pit lane. And that's going to relinquish the lead now to Nicholas Mateo. Looks like Thorsten Ulrich still making some moves here. Coming up on his teammate, Yannick Steinhoff. Ulrich goes around on the outside, up into P12 now. Fuente starting to lose a little bit of gap here, back to in the third spot. About a full second back now. It's 1.2 seconds back in that third spot. But you see Rubelar closing in on Mateo as they're coming down the back straightaway. Into that braking zone, Mateo plays that defensive line, locking him up. Here comes Rubelar back on that inside. Down the front straightaway, you got Nicholas Rubelar looking for a place to get by, closing in fast into turn one, has to lift. That is definitely not a place you want to go side by side, but here he comes up into the section here, into that chicane, going side by side with them. Mateo on the inside. Now Rubelar has the inside as they touch just a little bit. That gives La Fuente a chance to close the gap. Top three cars are nose to tail through that snake section here. Side by side, this is a super tricky section, side by side. Mateo leading them. Here comes Rubelar and La Fuente. Three-car battle right now as La Fuente now taking over the lead. Rubelar in third, sitting back here just waiting now. What a crazy, crazy sequence there. La Fuente went from third to first. Back here just a little bit farther. As you see these guys going nose to tail through that S section. La Fuente sitting third right here. Top two getting a little close to that hairy section. La Fuente able to carry some good speed and get a good run down on and take over the lead. We got about 17 minutes left to go. These top three are still going at it. Battle back here in the 12th and 13th spot. Yannick Steinhoff hanging on to that 12th spot. Scott Reister in 13th. Thorsten Ulrich's up at the 11th spot. This guy has been grinding this whole hour long. Had some computer issues on the grid. Had to start in pit lane, which started him about 35th to the field. He's worked his way up into the 11th spot, almost into the caching section. Top 10 cars in this race will get $15 iRacing credit. But he is on the move, but he's got about a 4-second gap up to Timo Grossman in that 10th spot. Back up front with your top three again. Fuente, Mateo, and Rubelar still going at it. These three guys have been nose to tail the entire time. And at their last pit stops, you had La Fuente with an 18.7, Mateo with a 17.5, Rubelar with a 17.5 as well. So La Fuente with a little bit slower of a pit stop, but was able to take advantage on the track and get through. $15 minutes left on the clock for these guys. Once again, top three will get $100 cash from North American Racing League. Scott Reister putting up some greenbacks for these guys. And then the top 10 will get $15 iRacing credit. So good on Scott, drawing some attention to the North American Racing League. We are in the middle of our season right now. Racing Thursday nights with GT3s. This Thursday night we will be racing at Detroit Belle Isle, one of my personal favorite tracks. I'm excited to race there tonight. That will be broadcast on Pit Stop TV, so make sure you guys check out Pit Stop TV on YouTube, as Andrew and the team there do a fantastic job of covering our Thursday night action. Still though, this is our closest battle in the top 25 right now. Let's give a rundown through the field right now, as we've got that lead battle still going at it. Kenya Lafuente out in front. In the second spot, you've got Nicholas Mateo. Third spot is Nicholas Rubelar. We've seen a lot of those guys so far today. Jackson Resende sitting in that fourth spot, about 8 seconds behind. Then you got Chris Beats losing a little bit of contact to Resende, about 3 seconds behind him. Ryan Allman able to hang on to that sixth spot right now. Lawrence Zavadil in the seventh spot, about 5 seconds behind those guys. Then you got Michael Brooks in the eighth spot. In the ninth spot, Scott Kimbrough still holding it down in that Empire Racing Acura. Right behind him is Timo Grossman, about 1.5 seconds back. Then as you look back, here comes the guy on the move, Thorsten Ulrich. Definitely moving up, sitting in that 11th spot. Then you got Scott Reister in 12th, about 3 seconds back. Michael Odell in the 13th spot. Then you got about 5 seconds back to Peter Nodwell in the 14th spot. And the top 15, Ricardo Delgado. Looks like we had a crash from Yannick Steinhoff. Let's see what happened to Yannick here, coming onto the back straightaway, gets up onto the curb. And Yannick just having a problem. Looks like he may have had an issue. Not quite sure what happened there. And looks like he disconnected. Back up 15th spot here with Ricardo Delgado. Looks like we've got some movement going on up front here. Lafuente and these guys have been going at it side by side through the top of the hill here. Great action been going on here. As we go back to live action here with the lead group, they are still going at it. It's so hard to jump away from these guys, as they've been separated by 1 second pretty much this whole hour and 9 minutes. But we'll jump back in the field in the 16th spot, up 15 from his starting spot. Paulo Gaday able to make some amends to that poor qualifying position. And then you've got Andy Ray Miller in the 17th spot, Scotty Angelo in 18th, Eric Brathwaite in the 19th spot. Mateo, I am not going to butcher your last name this time, sitting in the 20th spot. Sean Patterson 21st. You got Will Coffey in 22nd, Lucas Finco in 23rd, Anthony Wayland in the 24th spot. We'll go back up front with our leaders again. Nicholas Mateo out in front. Lafuente in that second spot. Nicholas Rubelar in third. Battle with these guys up front. Rubelar sitting back here in that third spot, just watching the tire dust, watching the grass kick up. Biding his time. just lifting and coasting through that section there, saving some fuel. As we've got 10 minutes left on the clock. Down the back straight. This is first, second, and third. Nose to tail as you see La Fuente looking on the inside. La Fuente likes to play that kind of a defensive line through there. He definitely does drift it out. Don't think he was necessarily trying to make a move, but might have been trying to fill up those mirrors of Nicholas Mateo. Mateo out in front. There's first, second, and third in the same shot. They're starting to come up on Lucas Finco. Put him another lap down. Everybody else pretty much spread out on the track, as you can see on the interval charts. Everybody's separated by multiple seconds. This is your closest battle right now. Top three cars starting to come up on Lucas. Lucas gets out of the way, lets these guys go at it. Less than 9 minutes left on the clock. What a battle it has been out in front. Mateo, La Fuente, Rubilar, these guys have been going back and forth this entire time, as you see La Fuente in the rearview mirror looking on that inside, coming down into the hairpin. La Fuente now taking over the lead. Here comes Rubilar up into second now. Mateo drops back to third, so Mateo goes from first to third, just down that back straightaway. La Fuente will lead them around one more time here, as we've got 8 minutes left to go. These guys should be getting by for about 6 more laps here. Top three cars starting to come up on the lap car of Mateo. Mateo does the right thing, slides out of the way, lets these three Acura's come flying by. Again, this is our closest battle in the top 25 right now, as you can see on the board. That orange gap, that orange interval between the three cars, less than a half a second separating first, second, and third. These guys have been going at it the entire time. Rubilar looks on the inside. Hard under braking goes on the inside, takes over the spot. Nicholas Rubilar back out in front now. La Fuente drops back to second. Mateo in third. Spectacular racing from these top three guys. Good, clean action from these guys going at it. Again, this is our North American Racing League cash race. Top three guys will be getting $100 cash. That is these three guys right here in position, poised to collect them greenbacks. Mateo tucked in behind La Fuente, waiting for get a slingshot down this back straightaway. Let's see what goes on, as we're 6 minutes away from the end of this race. Rubilar with a good drive off of that last turn there. Able to separate just a tiny bit down the back straightaway to keep from a good draft pass from Daniel. Everybody been minding their business here, doing a great job. Those top three still nose to tail. Not a whole lot going on back behind. One thing just to kind of shout out is Paulo Gaday up 15 spots from his starting spot. And then the other one is Thulsten Ulrich trying to reel in Timo Grossman. He's about a second and a half back, trying to get into that final paying position in the top 10. Thorsten had to start in pit lane. He has been grinding this entire time, trying to work his way back up. Can you imagine what a race it could have been if Thorsten would have been able to start up front? He may have had something for these guys up front. Top 3 cars still nose to tail coming down the back straightaway into that chicane here. As they're coming under the bridge and down the front straight, we got 4 minutes left on the clock. I think we're gonna get 3 laps out of these guys here. Car, Nicholas Mateo sitting on board, just sitting back here, biding his time as he just waiting to capitalize on these guys, waiting for a little mistake. Ooh, on those curves there, man, that is a one hairy section. You get just that curve just a little bit wrong, and that could be the end of your race really quick. As you see Mateo closing in tight on La Fuente onto the back straightaway. La Fuente able to get a good drive off the straightaway there. Drafted down the back straightaway. Here they come down the back straightaway again. La Fuente definitely playing that defensive lane. Oh, a little bit of wiggle out of Mateo. Under braking there. Less than 3 minutes to go. I think we've got time for 2 more laps here. Again, this is your closest battle for first, second, and third. Rubelar with about 0.3 of a second advantage on Daniel Lafuente. Opened up to a half second now. Mateo. Nicholas Mateo in that 3rd spot, all over the back bumper of Daniel Lafuente. Fuente hanging on to that 2nd spot, looking back to 3rd for Nicholas Mateo. Closes in super tight coming onto the back straightaway. They come down the back straightaway. Are they going to be able to get by? I'm not sure if they're going to get by for one more. This might be the white flag. Let's see how it looks when they come across the stripe. It's going to be tight, and I think they're going to make it. Yep. Looks like we are able to get by for one more. So this is the penultimate lap. Top 3 still going at it. These 3 guys have been nose to tail the entire time. This is your top 3 qualifiers. Rubelar, your pole sitter. Nicholas Mateo was sitting the outside the front row. Daniel Lafuente started P3. These guys have been going at it the entire time. Rubelar down the back straightaway again. Open up to a 0.6 of advantage now on Lafuente. Opening up that gap, really stretching those legs on that Acura now. Mateo tucked in behind Lafuente as they come down the back straightaway. Lafuente likes to play that defensive line there. Once they start closing in on Rubelar, though, as we're coming around for the white flag this time by the stripe. You see the white flag waving. This is it. Final lap for these top 3 guys. Nicholas Rubelar, your pole sitter, sitting out in front. Daniel Lafuente in second. Nicholas Mateo in third. Rubelar 0.6 of a second ahead of La Fuente. Able to stretch his lead out here on these last couple laps. Nicholas Mateo trying to close in all over La Fuente here at the end of the race. This is the white flag lap. Coming around that double right-hand turn. Oh, looks on the inside move. Mateo goes on the inside onto the back straightaway. That might compromise his back straightaway speed, but it pushed La Fuente out. That was a surprise move from Nicholas Mateo. Not a common spot. Definitely caught La Fuente off guard. Let's see how they do down the back straightaway. Into the hard braking zone. La Fuente takes a little look into, they're going at it. Not quite enough room for Daniel La Fuente. Tries to get a good drive off of here coming into the last section. They are side by side around the last turn. Mateo in second, La Fuente around the outside. He goes around the outside and Mateo drops back to third. La Fuente takes over the second spot. What a race from these guys. Rubelar, after all of this, Rubelar taking the win. Then you come back to Jackson Resende finishing in the 4th spot. Come back and we'll go back to Chris Beats finishing in 5th. What a race here for the first race of the North American Racing League cash race. What a finish for these guys. As we see a few more guys still finishing up. Scott Reister comes by. Here comes Michael Odell in the 13th spot. Peter Nodwell in 14th. Fabi, you got that right. What a crazy, crazy finish. Paulo Gadai finishing in the 16th spot. Angie Ray Miller coming around one final time. The last car on the lead lap. Cuts into the pit lane. Will finish in the 17th spot. What a crazy, crazy finish here. Let's go back and take a look at that pass from Nicholas Mateo. Watch it from up above. What a pass coming into that back straightaway section. Gives a little hip check onto the back straightaway. So Mateo sitting in that 2nd spot right there. La Fuente sitting back here, getting a draft. Trying to find a place to get by. Thinking about his move. Thinking where he's going to go. Here he comes. Dives hard into braking zone. Not enough room. He could have easily got into him hard. But Mateo had to check up a little bit. Here comes La Fuente around the outside in that final turn. Able to stick it through there and make the move. What a crazy, crazy race. What some great action we've had. Another look at that final section here. With Mateo and La Fuente going at it side by side. Down around that last turn. And coming by to finish. What an amazing, amazing race these guys have had. Here's your finishing results. Taking the win, Nicholas Rubelar. Excuse me, that's qualifying results. Let me get back to this. Click the right button this time. So Nicholas Rubelar is your winner. He was your pole sitter, taking home the win. Daniel La Fuente will come home in 2nd spot. Nicholas Mateo will come home in 3rd. Then you got Jackson Resende finishing in 4th. Chris Beats in 5th, Ryan Allman in the 6th spot, Lawrence Davidil in 7th, Michael Brooks in 8th, Scott Kimbrough coming home in 9th, Timo Grossman finishing in 10th. Thorsten Ulrich, tough break for him, but able to work back up into that 11th spot. Scott Reister coming home in 12th, Michael Odwell in 13th, Peter Nodwell 14th, Ricardo Delgado in the 15th spot, Paulo Gadai coming home in 16th, Andy Ray Miller coming home in 17th. Then you got Scott Angelo finishing in the 18th spot. 19th spot goes to Eric Brathwaite. Will Coffey working his way back into that 20 spot after some rough racing for him. And then in 21st, Sean Patterson, Mateo finishing in 22nd. Lucas Finco finishing in 3rd. Then you've got Anthony Whalen finishing in 24th. Yannick Steinhoff, 25th. Lucas Ortiz, Nick Ulzik, Victor Aponte, Manuel Sandoval, Timothy Patterson in the 30th spot. 31st, Nathan Medina, Troy Fenelon in 32nd. Eric Bolton, Josh Cummins did not start. Eric, and then the rest of the field here did not start. They joined the session, but were not able to join. What an amazing race today from Road Atlanta. This was our NARL Sunday Fun Day Racing, and we look to continue this on for the rest of the season here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys again soon next week. Make sure you guys check out NorthAmericanRacingLeague.com for any future updates, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.